My beloved child, draw near to me in stillness, for there is a depth that the outer ear cannot hear and the outer eye cannot see through. I do not only want you to recognize me through obvious signs, through great events, or through doors opening before you. I want to teach you a deeper, more delicate, more intimate kind of listening, where your heart becomes so sensitive to my presence that even the gentlest prompting is enough to make you pause. Bow your head and understand that I am leading. You have often wanted me to speak loudly so you would not be mistaken, wanted me to place before you undeniable proof so your heart could walk in peace. But my child, maturity and faith is not only found in seeing signs, but in knowing that I am near enough for you to recognize my voice amid the overlapping sounds of life. I will train you in that intimacy, not through haste, nor through pressures that make you afraid, but through each day you learn to remain with me. When you set aside private time to be still, when you lay your confusion before me, when you do not rush after every outward voice, a new discernment will begin to shine within you. You will gradually know what is the voice of peace and what is the voice of anxiety, what is an invitation from the light and what is a pull covered in attraction, yet hiding confusion within it. There are things I will not need to repeat again and again through great signs, because your heart will have learned the rhythm of mine. That is the fellowship I have always desired with you, not distant, not interrupted, not seeking me only in danger, but walking with me as a child walks beside the Father in every breath of the day. Then you will understand that even the years that once wounded you were not wasted. The things you thought were merely cracks in the journey will be transformed by me into openings for light to pass through. The loneliness that once made you feel forgotten will become a tenderness by which you recognize others who are lost in the crowd. The tears you once hid will become a language of comfort that you could never learn from books. When I place my hand upon the places that once bled within your heart, I do not only cause you to rise again, I also make you into someone who knows how to lift others up. You will not speak to them with the pride of one who has never suffered, but with the compassion of one who has passed through the valley and knows that I am present even in the darkest place. Remember the Samaritan woman at the well, who came at a lonely hour to avoid the judging eyes of others. She carried a past filled with brokenness, unfulfilled longings, and stories that made her want to hide. But when she encountered the giver of living water, what once shamed her no longer imprisoned her. She left her water jar at the well and ran back to the city, becoming one who announced what she had just received. Do you see? I can transform the place you once avoided into the starting point of a powerful testimony. I can use the very story you once wanted to hide to open a way for others to find hope. When I restore a heart, I do not merely make that person settled. I cause that person to become a stream for many who are thirsty. In this new season, you will also be taught about power, but not the kind of power the world usually pursues. The world honors dominance, loud voices, high positions, and hands that hold control. But I teach you power that is born from surrender. When you kneel before me, you are not lowered. You are placed in the right position for grace to lift you. When you obey, though you do not yet understand everything, you do not lose freedom. You are delivered from the pride that wants to control all things. When you choose to lay down your own will in order to walk in mine, you do not become weaker. You are covered by strength from heaven. It is in that tenderness that you will stand firm before the things that once made you tremble. It is in that humility that you will overcome the dark forces that seek to hinder your steps. Do not mistake true victory for the moment when opposition no longer exists. True victory is when, in the midst of opposition, you still do not leave me. True victory is when fear knocks at the door, but you do not open your heart for it to rule. True victory is when circumstances have not yet changed, but your heart has already been anchored in my faithfulness. I will give you authority to pass through toxic things, to remain unharmed by schemes meant to drag you down, and to no longer be subdued by the shadows that once weakened your steps. But that authority does not come from a boastful voice. It comes from a hidden life abiding in me. The one who is closer to me has no need to show off. The one who is led by me knows how to fight with peace, prayer, obedience, and purity of heart. And my child, know that you are not fighting alone. The angels I send do not merely pass through your life in special moments and then depart. They are present at my command, quietly, steadily, faithfully, guarding what you cannot see and supporting you in the moments when you feel as though you are alone. There are times when you are suddenly prompted to pray without knowing why, times when you are kept from a danger you did not even have time to recognize, times when an unexpected peace covers you just when you are nearly exhausted. My child, do not take these quiet interventions lightly. I am still sending my radiant servants to protect, open the way, strengthen, and keep you in a battle that natural eyes cannot fully see. Remember the story of Elisha and his servant when they were surrounded by the enemy army. The servant saw only the danger before his eyes, and his heart was filled with fear. But when his eyes were opened, he saw the mountain full of chariots and horses of fire all around them. That did not mean the danger did not exist. It meant my protection was far greater than the danger. So it is with you. There are times when you see only the pressures surrounding you, the words raised against you, the doors that have not yet opened, and the anxieties that have not yet left. But I want you to know that behind what you see, there is protection you have not seen. Over you there is covering. Around you there is watchful guarding. Before you there is guidance. And in every step you take, I remain the one who holds final authority. Therefore, do not let weariness make you stop praying. When you feel dry within, come to me without needing beautiful words. If all you can say is that you need me, heaven has already heard. When you no longer have strength to explain everything, sit quietly in my presence, for I understand even sighs that have no words. When you feel surrounded by things you cannot name, remember that your prayer does not fall to the ground without meaning. It enters the place where I reign. It moves things you have not yet seen. It opens the way for help to be sent at the right time. And as you persevere in communion with me, you will not only be upheld, you will become sharper, steadier, and clearer in spirit. I am bringing you into a season in which healing, discernment, and victory will grow together within you. What once wounded you will no longer be the place where you remain stuck, but evidence of how deeply I can restore. What once frightened you will no longer be your master, but a step into new courage. What once made you doubt, my presence will be illuminated, so that you recognize I never left you, not even for a moment. Let me teach you to hear. Let me teach you to stand. Let me teach you to overcome through the path of surrender. My beloved, I have not called you into a fragmented life, near at one moment and far at another, burning brightly for a time and then growing cold. I have called you into steady attachment, where you learn to recognize me in the dawn and also in the night, in songs of joy and also in heavy silences. I want you to know that as long as you remain in me, the light will not go out on your path. As long as you continue to obey, my hand will lift you beyond what you cannot overcome on your own. As long as you continue to trust, unseen help will be placed exactly where it is needed, exactly when it is needed. According to my wisdom, keep walking. My child, my presence is near you. My voice will lead you. My grace will heal you. My power will protect you. And through the very life I have renewed, many others will also find the light they have long been waiting for. My beloved child, let your heart rest under my gentle light. For I do not come to you as a harsh judge to remind you of the times you missed my call, nor do I stand before you to count every sign you failed to recognize. I know you are still learning. I know the eyes within you are sometimes covered by worry, weariness, and the noise of daily life. I do not see your slow understanding as failure, nor do I see the times you stepped wrongly as the end. What I see is that your heart still wants to return, still wants to hear, still wants to be led. And as long as there remains within you even a desire as small as a seed lying beneath dark soil, I can still cause it to sprout, rise, and become a flourishing tree in the season I have appointed. Understand this, my child. I am training you with love, not with intimidation. I am teaching you to distinguish the voice of life from the noise of chaos, to distinguish the prompting that comes from light from the haste that comes from fear. There are times when I do not speak through thunder, but through a very quiet sense within your heart. There are times when I do not open a great sign before your eyes, but use a small reminder, an unexpected meeting, a word that touches exactly the place where you have been troubled, or a strange peace in the middle of circumstances that should have shaken you. Every time you stop to listen, I take notice. Every time you choose to obey, though you do not yet understand fully, I am pleased. Every time you leave confusion behind to draw closer to me, even through one short prayer, I receive it as a precious offering. Do not despise small steps forward. In my kingdom, something small, placed in faithfulness, can become something far greater than you can imagine. A little oil in the widow's hand can open a flow of abundant provision. A staff in Moses' hand can become a sign of power. A stone in David's hand can bring down a giant. And a very small yes within your heart can become the beginning of a new season of movement. I do not demand that you take a step longer than your strength can bear today. I only invite you to take the next step with me. When you are faithful in what has been placed before you, I will open more light for the part of the road beyond it. So, prepare the inside of your heart like one who has been called into a sacred journey. Do not live shallowly like someone who only reacts to what happens around them. Learn to guard your heart. Set in order again the secret room where you meet with me, so that it is not filled with complaints, distractions, useless comparisons, and worries that have not been surrendered. Return to private time with me, not as a dry obligation, but as a child returning to the Father to hear the voice of love. Let your prayer become not only a cry in danger, but the steady breath of a heart that knows it needs me in every moment. Let my word become the lamp placed within you, illuminating the dim places you once avoided. The days ahead will not only bring signs, but also unveiling. Certain truths that were once covered will gradually come into view. Certain things you once sensed vaguely will be made clear. Certain relationships, choices, doors, and roads will reveal their true nature under my light. Therefore, I do not want you to be afraid when hidden things begin to appear. Truth does not come to break you, but to free you from what is false. Light does not come to shame you, but so that you no longer walk in confusion. Yet only a steady heart can receive truth without being swept into a storm. The one who is not firmly anchored in me will easily tremble before what is revealed, but the one who places trust in me will know that even a difficult truth can become an instrument of grace. Remember the story of Samuel when he was still young in the temple. He heard the call in the night, but at first he did not recognize that it was my voice. He thought Eli was calling him, so he ran several times to the wrong place. I was not angry with him because of that immaturity. I kept calling again, patiently and persistently, until he was guided to say that he was listening. Do you see? I do not rebuke the one who is learning to recognize my voice. I only desire that you not close your heart. that you not give up too quickly, that you not condemn yourself for the times you have not discerned rightly. Just as Samuel grew in the ability to hear and respond, you too will be trained by me day by day, until you recognize my leading more clearly, more deeply, and with greater peace. There are lessons I will teach you through silence. There are times when I let you wait, not because I am distant, but because I am quieting the haste within you. There are moments when I do not answer in the way you expected, because I am enlarging your capacity to trust. You often want to see the entire road before you take a step, but I often give only enough light for the next step. This is not meant to make you insecure, but to keep you close to me. If you knew everything, you might be tempted to rely on your own understanding. But when you see only one step, you learn to hold my hand. And that very closeness is the place where you are protected from wandering. Do not let outside voices make you lose focus. There will be people who do not understand why you need to step away to pray. There will be people who think you are too sensitive when you desire to live alert and awake. There will be times when doubt tries to enter, asking whether you are hearing correctly, whether I am truly leading you. When these things come, return to my peace. I do not lead you by confusion. I do not sow panic within you in order to make you act. My prompting may be strong, but it always carries light, purity, and purpose. Learn to recognize that mark, for it will help you discern between my calling and the pull of things that do not come from me. I want you to stand like a soldier who has adjusted the armor before entering battle, but not with tension or fear in your heart. Stand in the watchfulness of one who knows they are loved. Be equipped with truth, humility, a life of prayer, and obedience in small things. Guard your eyes from things that dim the light. Guard your ears from words that cool your faith. Guard your mouth so that you do not speak things that sow more darkness into your circumstances. Guard your heart so that pain does not turn into hardness. When you are in me, tenderness is not weakness. It is a sign that you are still alive before my love. And above all, my child, remember that my love for you does not depend on whether you understand every sign correctly, catch every direction in time, or never stumble on the path of learning. I loved you before you knew how to answer. I loved you while you were still struggling to find the way. I love you on the days when you see clearly, and also on the days when everything feels dim. What I seek in you is not cold perfection, but tender faithfulness, a heart that still turns back to me after every moment of confusion, still wants to rise after every time of weakness, and still chooses to follow me even without understanding the full picture ahead. Therefore, keep walking, my beloved. Do not stop simply because you have not yet seen the whole view. Do not be afraid simply because the days ahead may bring unveiling. I will not leave you alone before what you must face. My light will be enough for the next step. And when that next step is completed, I will give light for the step after it. My presence will cover you like shade in the fierce heat, like a stronghold in the long night, like a hand placed upon your shoulder when you need to be reminded that you are still being kept. Follow me with trust, listen with humility, prepare with love, and you will see that everything I am teaching you today is meant to bring you into a maturity that is more beautiful, more steadfast, and deeper, so that you will step into the new season not with confusion, but with the peace of one who knows their Father is going before them, walking with them, and will never leave them behind. My beloved child, listen to me with the deepest stillness of your heart, for this is not the hour for you to continue drifting with the chaotic voices outside. I set before you a sacred truth. You were not created to live as one without direction, dragged along by winds of fear, desire, regret, and error. You have been given the ability to choose, and every choice is like a door. There are doors that open into the land of light, where peace upholds you like a clear stream. But there are also doors that lead into thick darkness, where promises that seemed sweet at first gradually become silent chains. Therefore, I do not want you to take lightly what you decide today. A small turn, if placed in obedience, can lead you out of years of wandering, but a small compromise, if you continue to nourish it, you can also pull you far from my loving call. I know you have chosen wrongly before. I know there are decisions in the past that still return like echoes, making you bow your head, blame yourself, and wonder whether you can still begin again. But my child, I do not call you in order to press you down beneath old memories. I call you in order to draw you out from the shadow of days gone by. What happened does not have the right to define your entire journey unless you give it that authority. Mistakes can teach you wisdom, but they are not allowed to become a prison. Falls can make you humble, but they are not allowed to make you believe you are no longer loved. I still look at you with the eyes of the one who has known you from the beginning, and in that gaze, you are not an abandoned person, but a child still being called home. Remember Peter, who once boldly declared that he would never leave his teacher, yet in the cold night of fear denied what he had once wholeheartedly believed. The fire in that courtyard did not merely shine upon his face, it also exposed the weakness he had never wanted to face. If the story had ended there, he could have been swallowed by shame. But I do not end my work in a human life with a single moment of failure. Later, by the seashore at dawn, the call of restoration sounded more gently than any word of condemnation. One who had fallen could still be raised. One who had been afraid could still become a courageous witness. One who had wept over his mistake could still continue in grace. Do you see? I do not only repair what you have broken, I can also use the very place where you were once weak to form a new source of strength within you. So do not listen to the whisper that says you cannot change. That is not my voice. Do not believe the word that says you have gone too far to return. That is not the truth from heaven. The enemy often does not need to make you fall by violent force. It only needs to make you believe there is no way back, that darkness is the only place left for you, and that the emptiness inside you must be filled with passing things. But I want you to recognize this. The things the world offers you often shine for a moment and then fade. Sweet on the lips, but bitter in the heart, promising fullness while leaving a deeper emptiness behind. Only in me will you find the source of life that does not run dry. Only in me will you have peace that does not depend on circumstances. Only in me will you find rest without having to pretend to be strong. There are times when you seek safety and control, in the recognition of others, and in things you can hold in your hands. But every refuge outside of me has limits. Reputation can change. Human affection can waver. Success can come and go. Words of praise may make you glad for a moment, but they cannot heal the depth of your heart. I do not want you to keep going from one empty vessel to another, then wonder why you are still thirsty. I am the living water you are seeking. I do not merely fill what is lacking in you. I also make you new, clean, steady, and radiant with a beauty that does not come from the world. Yet you must understand that my love does not erase your responsibility to choose. I can call, but you must answer. I can open the door, but you must step in. I can shine light upon the path, but you must be willing to leave the darkness. I do not force you to love me through coercion, because true love does not arise from fear. I draw near to you with patience, with gentle reminders, with awakenings deep within when you are about to wander far. But you also need courage to turn away from the things that are wearing you down. You need to say no to invitations that pull you away from peace. You need to lay down old habits, old ways of thinking, and roads that once felt familiar but did not bring true life. Do not think that stepping into the light is something that happens in only one day. Sometimes it is a journey made of many small yet faithful decisions. Today you choose forgiveness instead of nourishing bitterness. Today you choose prayer instead of sinking into confusion. Today you choose to rise instead of lying endlessly in self-blame. Today you choose to believe that I am still working, even though your eyes have not yet seen the result. These very choices, when placed in my hands, will become stones that build a new road. Every time you return to me, darkness loses another portion of its power over you. Every time you trust me, fear must step back. Every time you obey, the door of peace opens wider before you. I do not promise that you will no longer face trials, but I promise that you will not face them alone. I do not promise that every wind will immediately stop blowing, but I promise that I will cause you to stand firm in the strong winds. I do not promise that the past will vanish from your memory overnight, but I promise that it will no longer rule your future when you place it in my hands. Your weakness does not make me distant from you. Your wandering does not cause me to abandon you. Your slowness does not exhaust my patience. I am the one who restores, and my restoration is not shallow. I renew you from the hidden places, layer by layer, crack by crack, fear by fear, until you realize you are no longer the old person led by darkness. So lift your eyes, my child. Do not bow your face before what has passed as though it were greater than my grace. Do not tremble before accusations as though they had the authority to judge your destiny. I am your refuge, the light upon your path, the arms that welcome you back, the strength that lifts you to your feet. Choose the light. Even if the first step still trembles, choose the truth. Even if it requires you to release what is familiar, choose me. Not only in words, but in each quiet decision of the day, and you will see that the peace I give is not a passing emotion, but a lasting dwelling place for your heart. In me, you are not only forgiven, you are rebuilt. In me, you do not only escape darkness, you are led into a dawn that does not fade. In me, you do not merely survive the trial, you will walk as one who is loved, kept, and made new by the hand that never lets you go. I am going before you. What you do not know does not confuse me. What you cannot yet control is not outside my power. The roads still hidden from your eyes are clear before me. When you reach a crossroads, I will give you clarity. When you are weary, I will lift you with gentle strength. When you are lost among conflicting voices, I will make truth clear like a lamp in the night. You do not need to hurry according to the pace of the world, nor do you need to stand still because you fear making a mistake. You only need to stay close to me, listen to me, and then walk with a tender heart. Today, I invite you to lay things down one by one. Lay down the fear that you will fail. Lay down the grief over things that did not happen as you hoped. Lay down the questions that have exhausted you because you kept trying to solve them in your own strength. Lay down even the need to prove yourself right before those who do not understand your journey. Let me be the one who defends you in secret. Let me restore what you thought was lost. Let me turn the years that seemed delayed into the foundation for a fruitful season. My beloved, freedom does not come from controlling everything, but from trusting the one who holds everything. Peace does not come from the absence of trials, but from knowing you do not walk through trials alone. Blessing is not found only at the destination, but also in every step where you learn to obey. Surrender and open your heart. Center it. I am leading you into a new place. But before you enter it, let the old burdens fall from your shoulders. Let your heart become light again. Let your eyes be lifted. Let your hands open. I am here, closer than your breath, more patient than all your waiting, kinder than anything you have ever imagined. When you are ready to walk, I will illuminate the next part of the path. When you dare to let go, I will give back to you what is better. When you obey, doors you could not open by yourself will begin to move. Trust me, my child. Nothing you place in my hands is wasted. No step you take in faith goes unremembered by me. And no new season I lead you into will ever lack the abundant grace needed to uphold you until the end.